What's the male Black Widow?
I mean, I don't know that there is a male Black Widow.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's a word for that.
Oh shoot, I have heard this before. It's male Black Widows are called Bluebeards.
Bluebeards. Really?
Bluebeards. And I saw this in a movie. I can't remember what, but a bunch of people were just shouting at this guy, Bluebeard, Bluebeard. And I was like, excuse me?
What's going on, everyone? It's the 20th anniversary of Joe's Crappy Movies, and we're taking a look back at the movies of Joe's Crappy Movies. So, Joe, what are we talking about this week?
Hey Phil, hey everybody. This week we're talking about Tim Burton's The Corpse Bride, starring Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter and Emily Watson and Albert Finney and Richard E. Grant and the guy that played Alfred in the Batman movies.
Michael Go?
Oh, you know, you're very familiar. You're like, I call him Mikey. I don't know that I've seen him in anything else where I've been like, oh, there he is.
Yeah, I mean, I
Um,
don't know that I didn't know that he was in Corpse Bride, but I knew him immediately from the Batman movies.
okay, yeah, absolutely, yeah. He's our precious Alfred, and because he did those movies, he did all four, or he just kept going with those. He didn't. He's like Burton's out, and he's like, it's all right. I like a cushy job.
He's like, Keen's out, I'm still here.
But yeah, he was in tight with Burton, who of course made this, and I mean, Burton is the front and center thing on this movie for me, because so much of it is based on his style and his tone of like gothic romance basically. And it's important to point out that in 2005, Burton was already a known commodity. He was a proven force of nature, beloved by millions, and people were still excited to see his stuff. And I was looking back at his filmography. That his top 6 is so hard to beat. You're talking about, like, Pee-wee, Batman, Beetlejuice, Batman Returns, Ed Wood, and Edward Scissorhands. Crazy. Like, he just came out the gate and he's like, "I have a point of view, and I'm willing to attach it to weird little man children on bikes and your favorite superheroes." And Hollywood fell in love with him, and he has gone wild since. And The Corpse Bride it came out in 2005, so it's very much the middle of his career. And I think it's important when you talk about The Corpse Bride before I get into the plot or whatever, is to talk about the movies that are around it, or the movies that are the same. Burton has 3 big stop motion animated films. He's got The Corpse Bride, which is the second one. He's got Frankenweenie, which came out in 2012, and he's got, of course, The Nightmare Before Christmas, which has become like iconic, has become like one of those things where they sell plushies at Costco of the characters. That movie is beloved. So like anything that comes after that is sort of just like, well, how does this compare to the masterpiece you gave us way back when? And I think Corpse Bride might have felt that sting in 2005. I forgot to look up how well it did money wise, but I think in its own right, it has gone on to become its own sort of classic. Even though looking at the 3, it's like if you presented them to children now that didn't care that Tim Burton directed Batman, and you're like, do you want to watch this one about a skeleton who is trying to take over Christmas? Or do you want this one about a little boy who brings his dog back to life? Or this one about a wedding? It seems like the least interesting on paper. It's about 2 adults. One's alive, one's dead. What's going to happen? It's like a romantic comedy. So I think superficially, it seems like the least interesting. And I sort of look, I haven't watched it in a long time. And when it came up this week as the movie to watch next, I was like, oh, I wonder if that movie holds up, if it's good. Spoilers, it is pretty good. And even though it doesn't look like something that is going to be exciting or sweet or special, there is a real special quality to this movie. Okay. The movie is about a man named Victor and a woman named Victoria who are betrothed to each other. They're supposed to be married. Um, Victoria's parents need money, and everyone needs money, but they're getting married for money. But they don't know each other, so it's very strange. Victor is played by Johnny Depp, and this character looks a lot like Johnny Depp and sounds just like him, so it's great. Um, he's very nervous about the wedding. So he's trying to they're doing a rehearsal of the vows, and he's like fumbling and like falling all over himself to the point where he even like knocks over a candle and lights the mother-in-law's dress on fire. Fire and stop motion, by the way. I mean, they really got it. I was impressed. Like they did a good job. So he's so nervous, but later that night he's out in the woods. He's like, let me go into the creepy woods in the middle of the night and just try to relax, take a deep breath, take in the scenery. He's out there in the woods and he's practicing his vows, trying to get it right. And he sees like a twig that's kind of in the shape of a hand, and he's practicing his vows, and he slips the ring on the finger of the twig. The twig comes to life. He falls back. A skeleton crawls out of a grave, just rah, rah, rah. And the bride emerges. And when she first goes up, you're like, oh my god, because she is both haunting, it's terrifying, but it's also a little sexualized and a little. I mean, she's definitely like a Tim Burton ba 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 boom kind of lady,
Ooh la la.
Ooh la la, that skeleton's got it going on. And then they reveal who she is, and he's of course terrified. And it's strange because now he's connected to her, and she doesn't want to let him go because like she's, you find out her story is told, and you find out she's a bride that was killed before she could get married, and now she's finally got that all these years later. So she's super psyched. She takes him to the underworld, and this is what you get, a real interesting contract here, because the movie so far, like the first 15-20 minutes of the movie, is like practically a black and white movie. But when they go to the underworld, all these lush colors, and like there's so much life underground in the underworld, wherever it is. I mean, it's alive in a way that the living world isn't. And you start to say like, oh, maybe he's going to want to be there. Maybe he's just going to become part of this life because it's so much more appealing. I mean, he's a little hesitant. He tries to trick her and escape. And there's a point where, the guy, she's like, we gotta get him back up to land so we could be there together. So she's pleading her case to like a skeleton judge. I don't know. And he's like, yeah, okay. But when you kind of want to come back, you got to say the word hopscotch. So he does this, and she realizes that she's being tricked because he's just trying to get back to Victoria, the living counterpart, and she realizes she's being tricked. So she grabs him, says hopscotch into the camera, and it's terrifying. It's just like, okay, I know you're the boss, and I know like like so many children must have been like haunted by that for years. Like if you saw that in 2005 as a 5-year-old, just the word hopscotch, it has got to be triggering for you. Anyway, very spooky little moment. But you start to feel for the bride, whose name I think is Emily. It's revealed that it's Emily. Because she's going through, she got a raw deal, and she's trapped in. Now she realizes she's trapping him. Anyway, the story goes on. You find out that there's a bad guy involved. I don't want to spoil anything, but there is Richard E. Grant plays this bad guy, and he's connected to what's going on in the present time as well as maybe something what happened in the past. And Victor ultimately is like, he feels bad for her, and he's going to stay with her, but she feels bad about trapping him. So like, it's like, what's going to happen? Is he going to choose to be with Emily, or is he going to choose to go back to marry this woman he barely knows, named Victoria? And my son and I were watching it, and he's just like, I don't know, is there a clear decision here? And I was like, yeah, throuple, make it happen. Why are these three just not making it work?
I
But of
mean,
course,
like presumably it was like Victorian times, and
yeah,
thruple was not a word that they knew.
I bet Shakespeare, I bet he could have cooked it up. I don't even, he wasn't around. He wasn't Victorian times, but I just say Shakespeare because he invented so many different words. But yeah, somebody there must have been like, hey, come on, just work it up. I won't spoil his decision, but everything wraps up very nicely. It's very cool. And it ends up being a very sweet story. I'll say that Tim Burton, of all things, he reminds you in this movie that like death is sad and scary and tragic, but there's also he also like delivers sort of like a warmth and a sweetness and a kindness and hilarity and humanity in death that we don't really normally see all the time. So Corpse Bride really represents that nicely. It is Tim Burton having fun in the underworld too. So you get like, skeletons singing songs and really clever ideas about how creepy death can be. The kind of stuff you see in like Beetlejuice and stuff. The one thing here that really stuck out to me is Emily the bride has an inner voice that speaks to her like a conscience, but it's really just a maggot that occasionally will crawl out of her ear, and he looks and speaks like the famous actor Peter Lorre. So who, if you don't know who Peter Lorre is, you've definitely seen a Bugs Bunny cartoon that has been ripping off Peter Lorre. So once you see him talk, you'd be like, all right, it's that guy. uh, but I thought that was really clever, and the movie is definitely peppered with all that kind of funny stuff. It's also a musical, which, if I'm being honest, the songs here didn't really land for me, but that's okay. I've only seen the movie like 3 times in my entire life, and I'm sure some people have watched it many more times and adore these songs. So I'm sure they're fine. But I wasn't toe tapping my way away from this viewing. All in all, really good time. A better movie than I expected in this revisit. Very charming, very sweet, very, very Burton.
Yeah. Yeah, when you were talking about, like, how Burton shows the beauty of death, like, I feel like that through line is throughout a lot of the various movies that he's done,
Yeah.
and I don't know why that is.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure he's spoken to this in interviews or whatever, but I think he doesn't fear it the way people do. I think he sees the romance in it, which is kind of beautiful. Um, and if there is an afterlife, there's gonna be a bunch of weirdo people welcoming him. Do you know what I mean? Like, you'd be like, you were right. I mean, not completely right, but uh,
We only have greens and reds, we don't have the whole spectrum.
exactly. But we all have maggots talking to us all the time. Um, he's a romantic, and it's hard to not let that sort of infect you as you're watching this. It's very effective.
Yeah. I will say when you mentioned that Corpse Bride was the next movie that we were gonna discuss, in my mind, it got conflated with Nightmare Before Christmas.
Sure. I mean, the only way you could be like, it's definitely not that, is because The Nightmare Before Christmas is so iconic. I think everyone, if you showed, the stills of Nightmare Before Christmas, Corpse Bride, and a third stop motion movie, of any of them, you'd definitely be like, that's Nightmare Before Christmas. I don't know if you could pick out the Corpse Bride, but I don't know. I don't know if I don't want to speak for anybody, but it's it's a little generic on paper. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's worth mentioning that this is also based on a Jewish legend,
Oh,
which I
okay.
thought was really fun. But there's plenty of, search the YouTubes. You'll find all the videos that explain to you how different it is. Like,
Yeah.
he definitely, like, I mean, this isn't Disney, but he definitely Disneyfied it. But
Mhm.
to great effect.
Yeah. I mean, now that you mention that, like, it's based on like, a Jewish legend, I guess, I can kinda see it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, simple story about, accidentally. I mean, we've all been there. Accidentally marrying a corpse,
Dead woman? Yeah, of
dead
course.
woman.
Who hasn't been there?
Who hasn't been there? Yeah. So there she is. I've mentioned it a few times, but it is stop motion. I pulled a couple pictures from the web, um, to point out, to show like the scale. Like, they're all working with these figures that are like this big. It's something like 300 different figures. Read online where it took like 55 weeks of filming, just slowly moving everything.
Yeah.
It's great to see stop motion still being done so effectively. And I wonder if AI is going to kill it completely. but it can't be. We still get 1 or 2 good stop motion or claymation-esque movies per year. And we're due for another one from Burton. Like, come on, give us another one.
Well, I mean, stop motion seems like it would take a while to. I mean, 55 weeks is like a little bit over a year,
Right.
if you did it continuously.
Seems completely
Um,
reasonable.
but like he may be working on one right now. We just don't know. Maybe he can't get he can't get the positions quite right. He's like,
That's
oh,
I saw a video where they had, like, they'd gotten it to the point where they had little robotic heads where they could just move the body parts and everything, but if they wanted to change the expression slightly or move the lips or whatever, they could do that, like, remotely almost. Um, I mean, it's fascinating. Like, part of me is jealous of the people that got involved in learning this trade because it seems like such I don't know, you stuck there for over a year moving little dolls around. That something a part of that sounds great, part of it sounds like complete torture, only because
I
you
mean, it
gotta
sounds like
really
Requiem
love
for
it.
a Tuesday.
Yeah. Stand in the place where you live. Yeah, I mean, you really gotta believe in the story. You gotta be like, there's no going back. Like, that's a lot of that's a lot of
Yeah,
commitment.
yeah. I mean, 1 year at San Diego Comic Con, I actually did get to visit uh, an exhibition they did for Leica, who
Oh,
did
cool.
Kubo and the Two Strings, and I think Coraline, a bunch of other like stop motion, and like the amount of detail in the I don't know what you want to call them, puppets. They're not really puppets.
I've seen them called dolls, but dolls seems
Yeah,
almost dismissive. Do you know what I mean? It's like, "Hey, hey, 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 these aren't
yeah.
playthings."
They are action figures,
Yeah, yeah.
but it seems like a lot of work, and like kudos to anyone who wants to do that, even if it is Requiem for a Tuesday and it
Yeah,
is like 5 seconds long.
absolutely, yeah.
Um, but yeah. Um, so do you own this on DVD/Blu-ray?
I sure don't. And when it came up, I said to it, "Do I wanna buy this? Because it's not streaming anywhere here either." And, like, I've been kind of had it on my radar for a couple weeks. I was like, "Is it gonna be here? Is it gonna be there?" It's not. It would not pop up, and I didn't think I was gonna enjoy it. Like, I thought I'd be like, "Oh, that was fun, whatever, forgettable." But I didn't wanna spend the $4 to even rent it. I was just kinda like, "Well, what can I do?" I found on YouTube someone had compiled the whole they're like, "The Corpse Ride, full movie." And it said, like, 47 clips. I was like, "Alright. There's gonna be some, commercials for for something in between every time, but whatever." So my son and I sat down and we were watching it, and quickly it became clear that this was a hastily thrown together list. There's lots of crossover. There's duplicates. Like we were watching the same scene like 3 times, like one that featured the score, and we're like, he's not saying anything, and like I think he is saying anything. So it was not an ideal way to watch the movie. There were a couple points where we were all like, yeah, we definitely missed a big chunk there. Like something's not right. And then at the end, without spoiling anything, there you know, she puts out her hand there's a wedding and one of the girls puts out her hand and he puts her hand into hers and then they just like nod at each other and then they went to black. And my son and I looked at each other like, "No, something's missing there." Like, there's no closure with anybody. So then we did a proper search for the Corpse Bride ending, and it turns out there was like 12 minutes that we would have missed, and it included a duel and major deaths and confirmation that the dead are cannibals. Like they're not zombies, they're definitely ghosts. But somebody dies and they're all like, we're gonna eat this guy so bad. Like they basically are gonna eat him. It's a very strange take on the dead. I don't know, maybe not. Zombie movies were huge in 2005.
So I was gonna like, as you're saying that, keeping in mind that it does come from Jewish folklore, at least it's based on something from Jewish folklore.
Yeah,
I could see that happening as
sure.
like a moral,
Like
like
eat your vegetables or go to bed when I tell you to, because
no,
if you don't,
um, like a moral resolution. You know what I mean? Like so, like I don't know, like, I don't know what this folklore is or, like, but it makes sense to me, that, like, I could see that, like, how that could relate. But I think I remembered what I was gonna say earlier, which
Please.
is about Richard E. Grant's character. He's the villain, you said, right?
He is the villain, yeah.
And,
Um,
like, I don't know if it's been clear to you guys, but I have not watched this movie, so this is purely speculation on my part. In my mind, he is, like, maybe not immortal, but, like, he has done this, like, he's killed many, many brides.
alright, I'm gonna spoil his character,
I
and
mean, you don't have to spoil it, but, like,
well, no,
'cause
I'm going to because it's just too much
okay.
fun. So, if you don't wanna know for sure, even though you kinda know already, here's the deal with Richard E. Grant's character. He when Victor's character disappears and it goes into the afterlife, he sort of swoops in and is like, "Hey, I'll marry your daughter," because he wants money, and he doesn't know that they don't have money. Like, her parents don't have money, so he's always after money. It is revealed that he is the same person that killed Emily, the bride. What must have been, I mean, it was probably like 40 or 50 years earlier or something like that. He's an old man, and, I mean, it could have been 10 years earlier, but anyway, so it is confirmed that he is that person and that this is sort of a thing he does. Like, he's like a professional what's the male Black Widow?
I mean, I don't know that there is a male Black Widow.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's a word for that.
Oh, shoot, I have heard this before. Male Black Widows are called Bluebeards.
Bluebeards. Really?
Bluebeards, and I saw this in a movie, I can't remember what, but a bunch of people were just shouting at this guy, "Bluebeard, Bluebeard," and I was like, "Excuse me?" And I went right to the computer. But male Black Widows are, referred to as Bluebeard, so he's kind of a Bluebeard, even though it seems like he doesn't go through with the ceremony even. He's just like he just as soon as he gets the money, he's out,
Yeah.
or he kills him, he's out. So anyway, he's a Bluebeard. But there are tons of theories online, things like Emily, the dead bride, is the sister of Victoria, the living girl that is, supposed to marry Victor. Um, I don't know that there's enough evidence here to support that,
Yeah.
but anything is certainly possible. And wouldn't that be fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so if somebody's looking to watch a movie with similar vibes to Corpse Bride, is there something you would recommend?
There's a couple that I picked out. One I just watched for the first time a few days ago. It's the 1940 movie Rebecca. It won the Academy Award that year. It's a Hitchcock. Um, and it's about a romance that between this man and woman, and then she comes to live with him, and then she is sort. It has a similar setting where it's like this Victorian, mansion, and all the servants are kind of like real connected to his last wife, who died mysteriously, and even though she's never seen in the film, like almost the ghost of her is like forever present, and this poor woman who is now the new wife is a mess. So it's almost the corpse bride from that poor living person's perspective. Like, she's just like, oh, my husband's gone, or my husband's obsessed with this person that's not even here. Um, but very gothic, very romantic, and very creepy at the same time. So that's an old classic that I would recommend. But if you really love just the feels, the vibes, then you can't get any better than Edward Scissorhands. I think is the one that matches up the best. Great humor, great gothic romance tone, really heartfelt, really emotional, and silly at the same time. So I think Edward Scissorhands is a slam dunk connection. But if you're looking to venture out a little bit, Rebecca is a great movie.
Nice. Um, so any other closing thoughts on Corpse Bride before we go?
I shouldn't have doubted, uh, even the bad Tim Burton movies, I'm still kind of on board with. He's just that kind of filmmaker for me. Like, he has his style, and he's so easy to slide into his world and just enjoy it. And it's always good to be reminded that in death you can find, like I was saying earlier, tragedy, but also humor and warmth and Burton won't let you forget it. A little horniness. Dude is crazy. Like when the bride comes out of the ground, I was like, Burton, slow down. Like this is a kids movie. She's got big Lola bunny vibes. Like yeah. Anyway, so the corpse bride, get into it.
Nice. All right, everyone. Have you seen The Corpse Bride? What did you think? Let us know in the comments below. Are you working on your own stop motion animation film? How far have you gotten?
Send it through.
Drop us
We'll
a
review it.
comment.
Yeah.
Shoot us a link.
Yeah. Let us see.
And if you liked it, like this video, hit that like button. And if you're not already a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. And we will catch you all in the next one.